Alright, this is a trade recap of what you just saw. So what I did was I identified direction. Direction is uptrend. Alright, so direction, uptrend. Uptrend is whenever price is making higher highs and higher lows, as you can see in this diagram here that I use to map market structure. If we put it here, you can see this is what I drew, right? Okay, so we got direction. Now the next step is point of interest, POI. This is where I was interested in buying, which was the 5-minute demand zone. The 5-minute demand zone is categorized, or this one in particular, is categorized by an indecision candle before an impulse candle. Indecision candle is a candle with a small body and big wicks on both sides, as you can see here, or it can be big wicks on just one side, like this zone right here. And a candle after it needs to create an imbalance, a gap in price, which you probably know as a fair value gap. So let me draw this for you. This is the fair value gap. This is the fair value gap. I'll make it a different color so you can see it. That is the fair value gap. So I'm expecting price to fill this imbalance, put me in the trade, and then continue going higher. And that is exactly what it did. So direction, point of interest, and entry. My entry is the 5-minute demand zone, of course, with a 2 RR, stop loss 1 point below the zone. And the reason why I do a point below the zone, right? So if we put this here, this is the low of the zone. Price could basically just like take out the low, tap the low, and then go to take profit. So I like to do 1 point below the zone, and that's what works for me. I back tested the strategy. I found that's what works, and I use 2 RR. But if the RR in the trade happens to be less than 2, then I would extend my take profit to the high, you know, the recent high, or the low if I was going short. But putting my take profit at the high would have actually decreased my R to R. But the thing about this is it is higher probability that price will take out the high. Price could take out the high and then reverse and flip on you, but I haven't seen that often enough for me to target the high, even if my take profit is past the high. Especially if you're in an uptrend, you're expecting the uptrend to continue, not, you know, reverse that every high. So yeah, that's a great trade. Yeah, W trade, and I'm gonna journal this trade. All right, and here we have our trade. This was a long 5-minute demand zone in an uptrend. The market condition was uptrend. This was taken on the 5-minute time frame. The date was April 15th. Trailed. Did I trail my stop loss? Nope, would never do that. Files and media. You can click on the trade, and you can see this is what it looks like on the 5-minute time frame, and this is what it looked like on the 1-minute time frame. The R to R was 3 to 6 points, which is 2 RR. Learnings, long 5-minute demand zone in an uptrend, 5-minute indecision candle before impulse candle in uptrend with fair value gap. The 5-minute also broke internal structure high. Take profit was past the high because my plan states 2 RR minimum, and I've back tested and concluded price will most likely go past the high and win 2 RR. There was also a 15-minute demand zone that got filled. Momentum was clearly high on the 1, 5, and 15-minute time frame, which I don't use the 15-minute time frame hardly ever, but I mean, I don't use it much anyways. But I drew market structure to help visualize and define the trade. And I defined the trade. And I defined the trade. There was a refinement on the 1-minute time frame, but it actually did get filled. There was refinement on the 1-minute time frame. Entry, home run entry. And then gotta pay attention to that because you could have taken that and made more profit. Okay, and the 5-minute demand zone below my entry didn't get filled. Momentum was high. This means higher probability to trade. Great trade. The P&L was $201.32. The setup was a long demand zone and uptrend. This trade took profit. I need to change this edit property. Win or loss? No. It's take profit or stop loss. Okay. I was trading substructure. There was a fair value gap, and the move was an impulse candle. But it was also kind of an impulse move, but yeah, it was kind of both. But I'll just leave that impulse candle for now. Alright, and yeah, that's great. Great trade.